Hi guys, let us talk about the Champions League quarter-final match between Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon, as well as Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. We are going to start with Arsenal, of course. Another historic in terms of like back-to-back quarter-final wins to go into the semi-finals of the Champions League, which I think is absolutely amazing. I have seen all sorts of people getting upset about the quality of the match, about the quality of the team, and basically just how we played overall. But you know what? Like I've said several times, people watch highlights. They want highlight football. They're not looking at what you have done to maintain your clean sheet. They're not looking at the industry of somebody like Hincapie, who was absolutely phenomenal today, making sure that this Jenny Catamo had absolutely no glory down that right. There was a time actually looked a little bit dangerous, and I think those were the phases where Arsenal tried to attack and it just didn't come off. Guys, in the first half, do not rewrite history. In the first half, Arsenal were looking for that goal. We had several chances from Eze. We had some few crisp passes, but it just wasn't coming off. We all know that our team is at the moment depleted and they are struggling really to find that rhythm that we had earlier in the season. And the fact is, Declan Rice has said every time they play a team, they go 5 at the back to make sure that all the spaces are covered. And we just do not have the skill set to unlock some of those issues that we encounter. Overall, a nil-nil draw, which is what I wanted last week, but I've got it this week. I did think Arsenal would do a lot better actually at home. But in the end, Arsenal did not need to do any more. They realized, I think, about a quarter into the first half that there was no joy. Arteta was pushing for them to do a bit more, but these guys are so clever. They basically did not want to let anything pass. And there were times, like David Raya was quite shaky, I thought. Like loose passes, which we basically got away with because we didn't pay for them. So for me, he didn't have the greatest of performances today, Raya. And then, of course, Mosquera, I thought he was absolutely fantastic considering the role he was playing. The only thing, if you notice, every time he went forward, he can't cross the ball like Julian Timber or Ben White, but he is a phenomenal defender. You can tell this is a centre-back. He's not a winger, but when he goes and does that job, it gets done. And he did it. It was brilliant. The William Saliba, Big Gabby, I thought Big Gabby was the better of the two tonight. William Saliba, there were times, like he'd let the ball bounce and he was caught in a couple of precarious situations, but also Sporting were not exactly clinical, were they? So we got away with that. I thought today was one of Zubamendi's better games for Arsenal. Was he amazing? Certainly not. There was one ball I saw which he cut through a couple of lines of defense and it almost reached Martinelli in a great position, but it was intercepted. That is what I want to see from Zubamendi. But the minute he didn't succeed with that was it. We didn't see any more forward passes from this guy. The minute he got the ball, he was like sideways, backwards. He was like, I don't want any of this hot potato stuff. And then there were a few instances as well where I noticed like when the boy is getting past maybe, but he was a little bit out of his reach. But also there were a couple of times I saw him intercept some great balls, which saved our backsides for sure. Declan Rice was playing today unwell and injured. Let me tell you 100%. This guy came and did a job for us. He's basically put his life on the line to get us into the semi-final. And I'm so grateful to him. I think, he had even his corners, about 60% of them actually all of them were not great. But the way we started doing the corners, it's not working. We've got no Big Gabby flying in from the back post. So he needs to sort that out. Noni Madueke, I thought today was one of his not great games. He won us some good free kicks again. some good free kicks, and then he had a couple of shots, one which was just wide. He should have left that for Martinelli to run onto. So some decision-making issues, but he's playing injured as well. His cast, you can tell his mobility is impeded. Imagine you've got a big cast on your arm and you're a fluid player like Noni, you are going to suffer for it. Gabriel Martinelli, he wasn't too bad, better than he was at when we played Bournemouth, but not great. He wasn't great. Eberechi Eze, I thought was pretty good, but he just did not take the ball by the horn. And I thought he was too relaxed. He was getting the ball and he was doing those lazy passes of his, very, even Iniesta looked a lot more industrious. I didn't see any industry from Eze. But when he got the ball in certain positions, you could see his intent. He wants to get the ball and then turn on, but you really need to be on from minute one, really. So for me, that wasn't great. And then Gyökeres, the 3 chances he had, couldn't get them on target. He couldn't get in the right position. The problems we've got is getting ourselves into the right position. So guys, the way I am, sorry about my hair and my appearance. I'm saying all these nice things, but I had a very stressful night tonight. And I've decided not to even put on makeup. I've only got lipstick because I've had a long night, honestly. So yeah, otherwise, in terms of sporting, let's talk about the guys who came on. I thought Gabriel Jesus should have come on for Martinelli personally. I think I'd rather see him on that side. But he came on for Eze. And the few chances I saw him, I think he did pretty decently. Some chances he was dribbling. We could definitely use him a lot more in that position, actually. If we don't have a proper number 10, let's try him on. He's a Brazilian. They all know how to dribble and how to spot a pass, don't they? Leandro Trossard came on for Gabriel Martinelli. The things I saw from Leandro Trossard as a sub were not too bad. At the end, he was almost 1-to-1 with the keeper, but he just could not make it pay. He could not make them pay for it. So that was a missed opportunity. Max Daumann was bullied. He was bullied. There was a point they slapped him in the head. Kai Havertz as well came in. You know what? That is why when everyone is complaining about the new draw, the way Kai Havertz played, this guy is like, I'm German, I'm not going to do anything stupid. Because there's nothing where you are leading, you've got 1-0. You don't need to expose yourselves. So you want to be attacking senselessly, go 1-0 down, then you are, and we've struggled every time we've gone behind, we have struggled. So the subs, the professional performance after that, holding the ball, making sure we are not conceding too many chances was the right approach, and it paid off because we're in the semis. Now, Sporting Lisbon, Rui Silva was tested a couple of times, nothing crazy. He did a good job of it. Araujo, again, this guy is a complete and utter menace. Finally got a yellow card for his efforts today. And I think that was because he took out Max Daumann, but the referee wasn't having any of it, was he? Or the like even Arsenal, you remember that push by Mosquera? That for me, if it was against my team, I would be kicking off. I'd want a penalty. It was really soft. But even on the other side, there are certain things this ref doesn't like. Diving, things like that, going down too lightly. He wasn't putting up with any of that. And I thought he spread those decisions out evenly. No one can go home complaining because you can always point at when it happened to yourselves. But for me, that was a penalty. Personally, I spotted Jenny Katamo. I thought he did pretty well. Luis Suarez, I saw him have a chance or two earlier in the game. But otherwise, you know what? Yeah. Oh my goodness. These guys Sporting are pretty decent. Definitely not the best in the world. So, and sometimes, guys, it's like in boxing, styles makes fights at the end of the day. It's a type of football that they play that really nullified us, and our type of football nullified them, went through. So that's why when you watch certain games, they seem more exciting. It's because the way they play, they don't complement each other. So there's a mismatch. But for us, we were really matched, I guess, and we got really lucky that we scored that beautiful goal, which Kai Havertz scored when we were in Lisbon. So Arsenal through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. and aggregate was 1-0. It was 0-0, and I am absolutely happy with that. Now, let us look at the match between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Yes, I watched both of them together because I am absolutely insane. Although, to be fair, I missed the first yellow card for Camavinga because obviously I was focusing on trying not to die from Arsenal's lack of industry. But this game, Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid, was a crazy game. And it was my worst nightmare. I do not want to ever get found in a game like that back to back. For me, it is not a pleasure. I want my team to score 2, win 2-0, and go home. I don't want to score in the first minute. Did you see how poor? Imagine David Raya with such a back pass. Imagine, we'd eat him alive. That is not acceptable in the Premier League. We cannot do that. And he did that. Boom. Adagula goes in. 5 minutes later, Pavlovic, boom, goes in. Adagula again with the most beautiful free kick back of the net. Manuel Neuer today was shocking, guys. He was shocking. And then before halftime, well, in the 38th minute, Harry Kane with a lovely goal, Pamachenko assists. And then Vinicius Jr. assists, Kylian Mbappe, and it was 3-2 at halftime. And I'm thinking, this is disgusting. It was disgusting. The professional footballers conceding 5 goals between each other in the first half. Do you call that serious? There's no defense. Their defense is wishy-washy. They're attacking too much. They've got no match control. They're just going for it and hoping for the best, which is absolutely dumb as you can be, which is what Barcelona did as well yesterday against Atletico. So Barcelona went for it. Atletico got to go and shut them down. Basically what Arsenal did. Yeah, we are going to see if we can take a chance. If we can't take a chance, you're not going to score. And that is how you manage it. But these guys, it was free for all the passing, the playing, headless stuff, just like blah, 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 blah. And then in the 89th minute, actually, it was a draw at this point. So aggregate is like 4-4 at this point. And then Camavinga earns himself a second yellow, apparently for picking the ball up and delaying the restart, which is disgusting considering in the quarterfinal, this is a game. He could literally just have said, this refereed the game the way that referee for the Barcelona game refereed it. There are some games where you look at the time and you say, you know what, guys, it's a warning. I know I should be sending you off. A second yellow card for that. He should have just had a word with him because there was nothing to be lost at that position. Let this game go. Anyway, second yellow for Camavinga. 86 minutes. 3 minutes later, a Luis Diaz, Musiala's assist, Luis Diaz in front of goal, boom. It is now 3-3 to Bayern Munich. And at this point, because they won 2-1, they are going through. They are 5-4 up on aggregate. And it's over. You think it's over, but then again, Michael Olise, the goal he scored was absolutely stunning. That goal would not have happened if Camavinga was on the pitch because it was in the area where Camavinga was, sort of like monitoring. So Camavinga really cost them this match. He did really. I want to sort of say, well, they were already doing blah blah, but yeah, it gives you, like when you are not sent off for disciplinary issues, yeah. You give your team another chance. You go into extra time. You've got 30 minutes where you can make changes, where you can influence the game, where your team can survive the onslaught. Imagine playing Bayern Munich with 10 men. Hey, even in 2 minutes, did you see what they did to them? That gap that was created with Camavinga completely took them out. Michael Olise, boom, 6-4, 6-3. What was the scoreline? Aggregate. 6-4 aggregate, and Bayern Munich are in the semi-final, and they are going to be playing PSG. I don't think I did PSG games yesterday. I was just like, nah, I did a small TikTok. But yeah, Yesterday, we saw Atletico Madrid beat Barcelona by using nuance. The problem with Barcelona, guys, is they are very immature. They got to 2-2 instead of saying, okay, we've got to 2-2 now. It is level playing field. Let us manage this game. I know these things because I'm Ateta's cousin now. Let's manage it. Let's kill the momentum and let's, reconfigure ourselves. Let's see how we are going to take advantage of them because we have overwhelmed them. Hey, hey. Lamine Yamal was amazing, I thought. Look, and then Ferran Torres in the 24th minute. And then Ademola Lookman with a beautiful, lovely goal. And that was it. That's all they needed to finish it off. And after that, the only time you saw Atletico Madrid pass their center line was on the counter. They were not doing anything, attacking anybody. It was on the counter looking for a goal. And then the minute they didn't have it, they just shuffle back and organize themselves. So it was an exciting match. I actually enjoyed watching this, and it was a bit hilarious how bad Barcelona were. They also got a second red card in this fixture. For me, it was never a red card because there was somebody covering, and in a fixture like this, there's no need to be doing those kinds of send-offs. No one wants those kinds of send-offs. I wish officials knew what we want. We don't want that rubbish. Even Atletico Madrid fans did not want to see that red card, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. And then Liverpool, unfortunately, got absolutely manhandled by PSG. They did not look like they had a cat's in hell's chance of doing anything about anything. They really struggled. I think Issa came off injured. They made some changes. Ekitike came off injured as well. He's got a long-term injury, so he might even miss the World Cup. Salah came on. Basically, whoever came on, it was just not happening. It was just not happening. So basically, that is the preview. That is the post-review, the post-match review of the games in the Champions League that have happened. Guys, thanks for joining me. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I've really, really enjoyed this sort of like phase quarterfinal of the Champions League. It's always nice when a team goes through, and we have upset completely the right people. We Arsenal fans, what's wrong with you? Why are you listening to people who have played 40 games all season? Some of them are playing 35 games or 38. Yeah, 40 games all season. That's all they've played. They play once a month and you're listening to them. Have you lost your minds? Can we have order, please? I know you want the performances to be blistering, but be realistic. We are playing without Saka, without Rice is injured, without Odegaard, without Timber, without Calafiori. Zubamendi might as well be, me and Zubamendi, we've got issues. But literally, we are playing we are handicapped. We are handicapped. So everything we are doing, we are overperforming right now. And I know, what you want, but our problems are player management. Rotation management has been very poor because somehow all our important players are injured, and they've been injured for prolonged spells of the season. Imagine if Odegaard and Saka were playing in that team. Imagine those two and Timber. Imagine if they were playing. Imagine if Ben White was even fit and he could have his match fitness on. Forget Ben White anyway. Let's just talk Timber, Saka. That whole right is dead. Saka in there. You guys. So I think you need to be a bit realistic. Stop listening to people who would kill to be in your position. You're being gaslit and you're fallen victim to the narrative. I am absolutely embarrassed by some of your reactions. I mean, standing in front of the stadium saying, oh, that was a terrible performance. You have gone into the semi-final of the Champions League, you clowns. Anyway, let me not pick a fight with Arsenal fans because that's the last thing I want to do. But I reckon you need to behave yourselves. I am looking forward to Manchester City. Look out for some videos about Manchester City on Sunday because that is our next big game, guys. It is a tough one, this one, yeah? But I am going to walk you through it step by step. I am here for it, guys, and we are not losing it. I can guarantee you that. Right. Good night, guys. And I'll be talking to you very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.